Guided by community spirit and a great sense of entrepreneurship, food experts, farmers, agri-tourism, and agri-trade have gathered together, and I've discovered some cheese growers, some mushroom variants, aspirational science lab tech of everything in Cebu. And what's great about this is the community starts this pop-up idea and it gets explored to different test kitchens. In this episode with Anyone Can Cook, we discovered mushroom farms, and we discovered goat cheese makers and cheese makers in the local community and in the mountains of Bosai. And we have taken it to our test kitchen to experiment and showcase with you that anyone can cook, from the farm to your table, literally, or from what we call it, from your wall to your plate. In the next couple of minutes, you'll encounter unique ingredients that are found and base found in the mountains of Cebu. Welcome to another episode of Anyone Can Cook. In the area and the local community of Cebu, we have stumbled upon a unique group of people, actually a couple, who are in the agri-trade business of mushroom growing. And it's amazing because when I meet these people that are starting up or in the community to do food processing or even something small that can supply restaurants, that can supply the industry, I get so excited. But first, let me introduce you to Marvis.
Hello.
And his wife, Angel. Hello. So Marvis, you have to tell me the history and the story of how you started your brand and the brand name, of course.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Kate. Thanks for having us here. We're excited to be part of your show. Okay, how we started about a year ago. We were actually didn't have a lot of farm experience, although we do have a farm in Negros. But our main business, we're in the IT industry.
Okay.
But we wanted to go into farming, and then we did a lot of research. I came across mushroom farming. It was very interesting. I like the science behind it.
Yes,
I like challenges.
definitely.
I'm a bit of a geek, so I did a lot of research, and then finally pulled the plug, and here we are. Collectively, we are Mushroom King.
Yes.
And then we grow fresh organic mushrooms for the local community.
What does that mean when you say behind me? Actually, if you look behind our mushroom pods, how is that something that you compost together and bag and then grow somewhere or in a farm? Please explain, do 101 experience in entry-level mushroom making. Is this made inside, outside? Is it in a farm zone?
Okay, very good question, because this is something completely alien to most people. They're not aware about how mushrooms grow. Mushrooms don't grow on soil. They mostly grow on composted material, basically plant material that's decomposing. So what we try to do is we try to mimic nature. We try to emulate nature. We give them the right conditions with which to grow. So what we do is we gather, for example, like sawdust or any dried plant material, and then we ferment it for a couple of days, and then we give them the right supplements, and then we put in what we call spawn, or the seeds from old mushrooms, and then in about a month's time, this is what you get. So as much as basically what we do is we bring in the conditions that mushrooms grow in outdoors. We bring it into the farm. So we put all the substrate, the ones that you see in the bags, and then we put the seeds in.
Yeah.
And then given enough care and time, they start sprouting on their own.
Well, a couple of days back in Test Kitchen, he gave me a couple of bags, and there's me talking to the mushrooms and watering it, and you know, you've shared with me it needs to be watered 5 to 6 times a day, right?
That's true. Yes.
In order to, I guess you can say, replicate moisture.
Yes. There's a couple of things that mushrooms need to flourish. Foremost of which is moisture. In ideal conditions, the moisture level should be up to 80%, 90%. So constantly spraying, but it's not like rainwater. It's not like big droplets of water. Mist is perfectly suited.
Okay.
Suitable for mushroom bags.
I've seen the mushrooms like behind me. It's gone to like some giant hand. It looks like my hand, you know.
Yes.
How does it become to that level? Like, what is the timeline from that bag? And we're looking at the bag this size, right?
Yeah.
To have a mushroom that big.
Okay. The mushrooms, when they're ready to flush, they flush over about 5 months to 6 months period of time per bag. Now, the first flush is during the biggest ones. So what we do is we provoke them, or we stimulate them to flush. Them coming out, we call them flushing. So what we do is, like, once again, we try to mimic nature. Once they get like a stimulant, they're stimulated. For example, in nature, when there's lots of rain, there's lightning. They grow, right? That's what most people know about mushrooms. So that's what we try to do as well. What we do is we give them the right conditions. Sometimes, like what you did, we scrape a little bit off the face of the bag. So that stimulates them. The theory is that they sense danger to themselves, to their host, to the substrate, right? Therefore, they try to propagate. So they flush. Because when they flush, that's when the spores come out.
Okay, the geek in me got excited again.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. You know, it's a lot of
science.
It's a lot of fun.
So with the bags that you sell, do you sell it to a commercial grade? So talk to me about what happens after you grow the mushrooms.
Okay, a lot of our market now is, well, the market here locally is only beginning to be aware and appreciate locally grown oyster mushrooms. That's all we have.
Okay.
So, and then the market's slowly growing, and because most people just, you know, are used to getting like button mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms.
Right.
So these are growing oyster mushrooms.
Okay.
So that's our focus now.
Okay.
And then for the most part, I would say 95% of our market is just fresh.
Okay.
What we do is we're now catering to hotels and restaurants all over town.
How exciting.
Yeah.
And you shared with me that also with the mushrooms, you have mushroom chips that are a derivative, no?
Exactly, yes.
What is the process? Are the mushrooms selected, they go into the hotels and restaurants, the fresh ones, and then the others are selected for?
Yes, good question. The business is still in infancy, so we're still, a lot of our produce now is going to fresh, and then what little we have is we churn them into mushroom, what we call chicharron. It's the healthy version of chicharron.
Fantastic.
Completely, it's very healthy because, you know, mushrooms are generally very healthy for you.
Yes.
Very little oil, very little starch, with all the goodness of mushrooms.
Right.
And we're excited to bring it to market.
And you know, it's actually an increasing trend, and I find with mushrooms, and you know, there's always some new trend every year. I find that the mushrooms have entered maybe in the late 2018 market, and now just starting to, like, I see a lot of mushroom choices in the supermarkets now.
Yes, a lot of people now are coming into the industry, and it's exciting stuff because, you know, everyone's learning the process.
Right.
Everyone's very active in the community online.
Right.
So we've made a lot of friends.
Right.
We've been very active. She's been very active as well.
Okay.
You know, it's exciting times.
But Angel, tell me how you got thrown into this industry too. Is it something that you wanted to do with your husband, or?
Well, I've always been supportive of him. So whatever he's into, I'm into.
Yeah, but also it's so much fun.
Oh yes. Right? When you work together, and especially with mushrooms, you harvest every day. You see the growth.
You harvest every day.
Yes.
I
so,
see.
You know, unlike other plants or trees, you have to wait for years until you see the fruits. With mushrooms, you see it almost every day. So it's
wow.
fun. Yes.
So in your farm, you can see you have over, could I call them pods? Like over 1,000 pods?
Bags, yes.
Bags,
yes.
bags. So behind me, he took a little bit of his farm to our zone here in the table, and we people like me get so excited because you can grow them from, I won't even say farm to table, it's like wall to the kitchen, right? So in the next few minutes, we're gonna exercise from the fresh mushrooms into a plate, into the cooking zone and test kitchen. So just stay tuned. I get so excited. The nerd in me comes out when I look at this. All of this was made up in the mountains in the farms of these micro communities, and what we have here is a mushroom pod. Take a look. It's hand size, and it carries out, and it's sprouted the true mushroom. Earlier, I had an interview with the Mushroom Kings and explained how this can be grown in your home, on your kitchen table, straight into your plate. So this is what we're going to use as a base ingredient, which is the oyster mushroom. And beside me is unique little abysses of goat cheese. And mind you, the goat cheese and the goat milk has been extracted. And it went through a processing of sorts that it created a hard cheese that we are going to use in this kitchen today. So what we're doing in the next few episodes as we go along is to discover these micro communities that are making unique artisan of these products that will help them help you in cooking. And what it is, we're trying to reach this module of sustainability in which the farmers feed the people, a zero waste, recyclable, and it kind of like feeds the community on one beautiful process. We are going to make, because the theme of this episode is healthy and fresh, we are going to make a cauliflower crust pizza. Yes, cauliflower crust, zero flour. So this also appeals to everyone on keto, everyone on a diet, those that want to lose weight, and it's healthy, fast, fresh, and so much flavor. And we are going to compost that and put that together with a mushroom carpaccio. These oyster mushrooms have a very, how do you say, the flavor profile is very, and almost like one scale of fragrance. Doesn't have a very strong pungent taste like porcini, but it comes from the fungus, the fungi community, so it does have a mushroom texture feel. And the only way you can achieve full flavor is to quickly saute it, so that, because this has got lots of liquid, to quickly saute it that it doesn't bleed in liquid. So almost like a dry baste, which we're gonna test today on our carpaccio. And of course with the goat cheese that's gonna get sprinkled on top, and wow, no guilt and just all pleasure. So come follow me in Test Kitchen. 3 main ingredients: cauliflower, mushroom, and goat cheese. So we're gonna start with a cauliflower crust. The cauliflower crust is going to be flaky, crispy, and full of flavor. How that's achieved? 2 simple ingredients. So what it is the cauliflower is boiled without any liquid whatsoever. It's going to go through a processing. So I'm just going to use a food processor because I want it sediment-like. So that's going to go inside this processor. And I'm finding that there's large tubs. So I'm just gonna give it a rub so that I clean it. And I just take that core. And then you want some salt. So maybe 1/2 of a tablespoon in there. You want some grated Parmesan cheese. So you want the Parmesan to create the flavor. So I'm just gonna give that a good grate. Maybe you want about 1 cup of this to go into the cauliflower sediment, or I call it the cauliflower sand, because you want to achieve a texture that's almost like it had flour, but not necessarily so, which is what we want to create in this one right now. Okay. You also want maybe a 1/2 cup of fresh mozzarella cheese, and this mozzarella cheese is right here, and you're gonna give that a good grate into that composition. Very interesting, very easy, and you'll find what's the fuss about. You gotta cook your own meals at home. If you want it healthy, nutritious, and full of fresh goodness, fantastic. I'm gonna drop it into the composition. You will find about 1.5 cups of just cheese going to that cauliflower crust. Voila. Even that alone, I can eat. You know what I mean? So while we're on that, I'm gonna add 2 eggs as a binder. Very easy. And we're just gonna shut the front door. And you will come to a composition of this texture, which is like a fine grind. If you look at it like a paste almost. And this paste is going to be the base of our pizza crust. You'll take a look, it almost looks like a mash. So we want it dry, that there's no liquid, and it's gonna go, whoops, it's gonna go in a tray. Very simple. It's gonna go in a tray like this. And I'm gonna line it with a tin, a round tin. If you don't have a round tin, use wax paper as just a marker. Draw a circle that you, the size of the pizza that you want, and it's just gonna go in like that. So simple, guys, so simple. And it's already with flavor, because think that there's mozzarella cheese and there's Parmesan in there. So imagine as this goes through a cooking process, you'll taste cheese and cauliflower, full flavor, got enough of the fat that you want in there, the good kind of fat. And you just kind of like use that as your base and the grid for the pizza. You can choose to also make it straight into the pan that you are cooking in, but you know, harder because you'll have a hard time removing it. So what I do is I always have a marker, so it just makes my life easier to take that out. See, I want a thick crust. No, I'm just gonna get this spread to all the ends. I like my pizzas with thin crust, but because, you know, this is guilt-free and has 0 flour, heck, I would make it thick crust, right? Yeah, would you? Of course so. There you go. And that just sits easy with a spoon. That goes through a cooking process of 20 minutes, and you're good to go. Okay? That's gonna go in the oven, very simple. Let's not forget about that. Let's mark 20 minutes and then we move on to our other dish. So let's talk about mushrooms. These mushrooms that got picked from our beautiful wall and our beautiful pods are here to stay. Very fresh, just picked now. So I want to maximize whatever flavor there is of this oyster mushrooms, mind you. So I'm just gonna put some salt, okay? And these mushrooms are actually full of liquid. When it's full of liquid, when you cook it, it extracts and it draws out this liquid. So I don't even want to use anything else rather than to seal the juices in. So I'm just gonna get some thyme, and this thyme is already full of flavor. Thyme is a herb you can find in your local grocery, and it has like a savory fragrance to it. So I'm gonna drop that in, and what I want to do is to take the thyme and to let it sear and solidify with its flavors of the herb onto the pan first. So you can extract the flavor of the thyme. Well, voila. That's gonna be simple right there. Get it good on the pan. Ooh, so strong. If you can smell what I'm smelling. So you get also 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of just easy butter, clarified butter. And I'm just gonna trim these mushrooms because I wanna create a composition of mushrooms for our pizza crust when that's done. You know, like a beautiful plate and aroma of all these mushrooms. So I want the mushrooms with these round plate-like shapes, and I'm just selecting them for the pizza crust. See, with mushrooms, they're so versatile, and the word I'm looking for, it's not even fragrant. It has just this very mild texture, very mild flavor that you can't put a guess on until you just put a little bit of salt, have some herbs, and just cook it properly. You get full caramelization. It's on a woody note. So there's a lot of earthiness that goes into the flavor profile of mushrooms. Earthy, that's the word, earthy. Woody, musty. You know, it reminds me of like an old world where it's comfort, you know. And I love mushrooms for this achievement because it's comfort and low in calorie. So if you look what I'm doing, I'm taking the spores, all these microspheres, and choose to cook the tops first. Voila! Take a look at that. So what I want to achieve is to have a color on the top so that when it does the final cookout with the pizza, you just get this nice assembly, almost like a French tart. You know, for me, you eat with your eyes, so presentation is key. So this is where we're going with it. I'm just gonna take a plate that's just gonna sit there, and once I achieve the colors of the mushroom, because mind you, mushrooms cook very fast. I just wanna get that seared. Do you see what I mean? Can I show you right here? A beautiful color of tan. That's what I want to achieve. The beautiful color of tan. Nothing overcooked, but already fragrant enough that you can bring that out. See, for me, everything is art. And artfully displayed on a plate, artfully displayed on the pan. And it sits there because every single thing has flavor. And when you awaken those flavors, wow, people are like, amazing, umami. And you know, umami is another sense that arrives when everything is just truly beautiful in the mouth. And that's what we're trying to achieve with this mushroom project of ours today. Woohoo! Quite fun as we come to an assembly. See? You don't want it wilted, you want it tanned. You want to achieve that golden color of little bit crispy, almost crispy on the outside. It's got the edges. You know, just like rice, when you overcook it, the best part is the burnt part, right? And that's where the flavor comes out. So I'm not saying to burn it, but what we want is the color and you want that flavor. So that's what we're trying to achieve in this fan-like project of a spore. Voila. See? And I will let it sit there and not break up that beauty. But see, this is why I call it our carpaccio, because carpaccio is supposed to be raw. Basically and technically, the mushroom we're doing is still raw, because what I'm doing is I'm just searing one side. So one side will have the flavor component that we want, and the other sphere is quite raw in state. Wow, this is the best and perfect beauty. Look at that. This is exactly where we want to go with our presentation. Just seared until the edges are crisp and golden. Inside it's still soft. Oh, gosh. Beautiful, beautiful. Exactly where we want to go with it. You know, it's love and care and just creativity that goes into this tart that we want to create. See? I want it to open up. Sometimes it like holds in, and I just want to make it bloom like a flower. My mushrooms are almost gone. I may think we actually need more. Voila. See, just want to achieve that golden, earthy color and get those flavors out. There we are. So while I'm at this, remove those stems. I'm gonna take the cauliflower that's outside that's been in the oven for about 20 minutes. It could go a little bit more time, but I'm just gonna take the notch up higher. See, if you can see, the crust is starting to form on the sides. So what you want to do is take like a little tongue and start to assemble it. Almost like this beautiful tart that we were talking about. And what's nice is the thickness of the crust has allowed us to like let it embed, which is kind of pretty, quite therapeutic actually. And I can smell that, so that's gonna get guiding light from us, guidance. Really look at that, a work of art already. And the mushroom fan out. Fan out just like that. Into this morsel of a fine product. Almost like a rose petal that's about to emerge and do a full bloom. Come on, you can't deny the beauty. And something so simple and understated that you're like, anyone can do this, anyone can cook. Seriously, without any technical skill in cooking, everyone can pan fry. Just take a look. It just sits there. You know, you just need to find these areas, pockets of holes that needs life. And voila! Guys, how easy was that, right? So this is where the second phase goes, and we're gonna take the cheese and crumble it into this texture on top of the mushrooms, and then we sit with heaven. So I'm gonna take the goat's cheese and I'm just gonna crumble into the tops of this, an assembly. So all of them have equal amounts, and every bite gets an equal amount of goat's cheese. I want the goat's cheese to just melt a minute and a half, just to give it a quick creamy texture that is already there, even with just me crumbling this cheese. I still can't believe this goat's cheese comes from the mountains, from cheese farmers, you know, private artisan homes that just want to achieve good food and good product. So, last top off Just in there, and it's gonna do a quick gratinate in the oven. Mind you, I forgot to tell you, the oven right now I raised to the temperature of 180. Ooh, because this is gonna be quick. Let's move that in the middle. To our tummies. Beautiful. Two minutes and then off the oven, and then you'll just get the golden caramel. I can smell it now. Very easy, guys, very easy, and you can do it your own home because really anyone can cook. 2 minutes done. Let's go check out this caramelization of this cauliflower crusted pizza. Oh my, the beauty of such astounding color has been achieved after 2 minutes. So simple. I'm just gonna slice into that right now, and we're gonna get our first bite. We got the crust where we want it, and I'm just gonna dig in to a slice on the cauliflower crust. Ooh. And you know, mushroom when cooked properly can resemble like meat. It has a very bitey texture. Cauliflower, the mushroom, the goat's cheese, all going. Look at that. Decadence. Simple goodness. Easy. 3-portion ingredients. 1 bite, full flavor. Okay, now you can go away. I need to finish this plate. Beautiful. Gotta do this at home. Cauliflower crust, mushroom, carpaccio, goat's cheese, full flavor, low in calorie, amazingly healthy. With anyone can cook. I'm Kate Anzani, your host, and join me next time as we trolley and wonder experiences and crossovers in this kitchen.